You might be surprised, but it's actually false that March is the big month for winter storms. Historically, in the Great Plains, from southern Canada right down through the Dakotas and through Iowa and Nebraska, January has had more of the great, terrible blizzards of all time, but it's also no secret that we do get some in March, and it's no secret that there has been a fairly big March storm in the area this weekend. Lingering winter weather in the wake of this weather system, and also some lingering cold. And another thing to talk about tonight is that we're getting another round of decent moisture in California. Not a drought buster, but something that will certainly bring some improvement. As this weather system moves out of the area this weekend, it will generate rain and some thunderstorm activity in the east, especially the southeast. By the time we get to the middle of the week, this thing will be moving out to sea. Another one building into the northern Rockies, not likely to move, though, into the northern plains. Jet stream configuration this week will be changing. It looks like we'll be looking at a dip or a trough in the eastern U.S. for a while. So no longer will storms be driven up into the northern plains. It should be fairly quiet week around here. And the west coast will be looking at getting some rainfall, perhaps as far south as Los Angeles, again, by the time we get to the end of the week. The second week, now we're talking the middle part of March, troughiness in the east, troughiness in the west, which means the west coast and some of the western interior will have another round of wet weather, and there may be yet another snowstorm, one of those nor'easters perhaps for the northeastern states. The middle part of the country, not suggesting that March will be precipitation free. I just think that once we get past this weekend, a lot of the weather is going to settle down. Cold weather will be dropping into the Dakotas, Minnesota, maybe even eventually into Iowa. And by cold, we mean well below freezing. Some nights could even go below zero, but it's not going to be frigid weather. That's remaining up in the fairly high Arctic. There will be a round of pretty cool temperatures into the southeast, but not South Florida. But it'll get pretty cool in the southeast. It does that in March. Warmest weather will be Texas and the southwestern parts of the United States. Much of the west coast will be fairly chilly this week, at least at times, as rain systems pass through. For the second week, then, as we look to the middle part of March, cold weather will likely build back through the northern plains region. This is below freezing stuff. No sign of spring really for most of the Dakotas, Minnesota, the upper part of the Midwest, and there will continue to be surges through the east. Other parts of the country affecting agriculture, plentiful rains for Brazil, but Argentina continues largely drought areas except in the mountainous regions of the far south. And in Australia, the only stormy weather is in the far north and some rains along the coastal regions. Overall, Australia, typically late summer, hot and dry. As the big March storm leaves, we stay cold and California gets wet.